My wife cheated with her ex, while I raised our kids alone, so I recorded everything and served her divorce papers before she could destroy me first. I'm 35 and my wife is 31. We haven't had any intimacy for the past 6 months, and I don't know what to do. For context, we have 2 boys. One is 3, and the other is a year and a half. We're also in the middle of building a house. I'm not someone who enjoys watching things fall apart. I like to face problems head-on, so I initiated a conversation with my wife. I wanted to understand what changed. I asked her, "Why did you stop talking to me? Hugging me? Kissing me? Why do you flinch when I touch you? Why did we stop having any form of intimacy?" At first she didn't want to speak. It was like trying to break through a wall. But eventually, she opened up. What she told me hit hard. She said I wasn't enough for her. She said she's doing everything alone, that she can't depend on me. She said she wears the pants in the relationship, makes all the decisions, handles the kids, and that I'd probably be better off single. She called me an introvert, though not an extreme one, and listed other traits she found frustrating. It was a lot to take in, but I stayed calm. I told her I understood how she felt, and that I'd work on changing my behavior to ease her stress. I love her deeply, and didn't want to start a fight. Still, I couldn't shake my own thoughts that kept me up at night. There was a massive red flag behind all this, and it's what brought me to this group. I truly believe her claims are far from accurate. Of course, that's just my perspective, but I honestly think I meet the standards of a good husband. I work from home 8 to 9 hours a day, and once I'm done, I take care of our boys. I play with them, feed them, take the older one to swimming, and put them both to bed. I also wake up in the middle of the night if they need me. Beyond parenting, I help with household chores. I do dishes, shop for groceries, and tidy up when I can. She prefers doing the cleaning because I'm not as efficient, but I do what I can. I also handle the car, coordinate things for the new house. We're both contributing in our own ways. I know it's tough with 2 small kids, but I'm not someone who's naturally proactive. Some people can't sit on the couch for 5 minutes without thinking about what else to do, what to fix, what chore is left. Her dad is like that. I'm not. Once the day's over, the kids are asleep, work is done, and the house is cleaned up, I like to unwind. I'll watch a movie or play a few games to relax. I'm not the kind of guy who dreams of launching a startup. I'm good at my job, and I like being given tasks I can do well. I don't chase fame or millions. I just want to live a stable life with a happy, healthy family and earn a decent living. It slowly became clear to me that she started resenting that. Even after 4 years of a happy marriage and 5 solid years together before that, things were shifting. That first conversation took place in December. After that, I started changing, going against my natural tendencies. I became more proactive, running more errands, fixing things around the house, not sitting down in the evenings, and avoiding rest altogether. She appreciated the change, but it didn't shift how she treated me, so I had to initiate another talk. This time I asked her directly, "Do you want to save this marriage?" She responded, "I don't know." It was a hard answer to hear, but I pressed on. I asked, "Would you consider marriage counseling?" Again she said, "I don't know." I told her that now isn't the time for uncertainty. Our children might end up with parents living apart. After that, she finally agreed to therapy, but I was the one who had to find a counselor. She showed no interest in it herself. During that conversation, she also said some painful things, one of them being, "I only married you to impress my parents and my already married sisters, so we could all look like a perfect family." She said she married me because she wanted a big, happy family and beautiful children. But then she admitted she was enchanted, not in love. I also found out she met with her priest to discuss our marriage. Still, I managed to find a good therapist, and we're currently approaching our 3rd counseling session. We've discovered we have completely different love languages. Mine is physical touch, while hers is acts of service. But since therapy began, she hasn't offered me any touch, not even a hug. After 2 sessions, I asked her how she felt about it, whether she liked it. All she said was that she felt uncomfortable sharing our personal life with a stranger. When the therapist found out we hadn't been sleeping in the same room for 6 months, she was stunned. My wife explained it was because she sleeps with our children in the bed, and there's no space for me. The therapist didn't hold back. She said, "That's a terrible example to set for the kids. If there's no space, go to damn IKEA and get a single bed to put beside the main one." So I did. I bought the bed, assembled it, and now I sleep there. Funny thing is, I still feel like I'm sleeping alone. She's all the way on the left side of the bed, the kids are in the middle, and I'm pushed to the far right. Since this all began, my wife's explanation has shifted a bit. Now she says she's just depressed from being stuck at home with the kids for so long. She told me the things she said before were just emotional outbursts. I would never say such things to her no matter what, but I tried to take her at her word. Recently she went back to work and we hired a nanny. That's the only real change. We've started talking again, which is something, but I'm not just her friend. I'm still her husband, and there's still no intimacy, no sign that it'll ever return. She shows no interest in our marriage counseling sessions. I'm the one constantly scheduling them. As for sex, she told me she doesn't need it at all, that she only did it because I wanted it. That made me feel like some kind of monster. She was never particularly enthusiastic about it. Once a week was our average, which was fine with me, could have been more, but I was content. This year we've had sex just twice. Both times felt like charity. One was in early January for my birthday. Apparently now I need to celebrate getting older just to be intimate with my wife. The second time was after one of our therapy sessions. I initiated it, but she just lay there, covering her chest and waiting for it to be over. It broke something in me. That's not what love is supposed to feel like. When I bring it up, she coldly says, "That's just how I am. If you don't like it, leave me." I'm lost. I don't know what to do anymore. There was one incident that really shook me. My wife tried to call her ex-boyfriend 4 times in a row. At 10 p.m., she never got through to him, but I only knew about it because we used to have an app where both our numbers were linked, and I could see incoming and outgoing calls on both lines. When I saw that, I lost it. Why is my wife trying to call her ex 4 times at night? I checked her laptop. I felt awful doing it, but I needed answers. We're married, we have kids, and she was acting suspicious. After those 4 calls, she sent him a message. "I'm going to keep calling until you pick up and talk to me like a normal human being." When I confronted her, she lied, said she never called him. So I showed her the app, the proof of her outgoing calls. She couldn't deny it anymore. I asked why she called him. She said he had called her earlier, drunk, talking nonsense. She told him to "focus off" and hung up. But then she felt bad about how she ended it, so she tried calling him back several times. He didn't answer, so she sent that message. He never replied. I don't know what to believe anymore. This happened around the same time she stopped being intimate with me. Her stance? She says it's not weird, not a big deal, and not something worth mentioning. But to me, any contact with an ex is a huge red flag. It's absolutely unacceptable. Is she cheating? I honestly don't know. There hasn't been any intimacy between us for 6 months. That's exactly when those calls to her ex happened. Thank you all for your insight. At first, I couldn't believe how many of you were certain she was cheating. It felt like something out of a movie. Unreal. Something I believed my wife would never be capable of. But today, it became fact. I feel foolish. Just another guy in the same situation I used to read about. But I guess that's life now. I know I said I'd confront her ex and speak to her family, but instead, I decided to take a step back and stay calm. And honestly, it was ridiculously easy to uncover the truth. All I did was install a voice-activated recorder in our car, not even a GPS tracker, just a small audio device. It had only been in the car for 3 days. She used it to go to work, then to the gym, and finally I caught it. She either called him or he called her, twice. I don't know who initiated the calls, but it was a video conversation. I heard every word. They talked about sex, about their lives, about memories and jokes. It sounded exactly like how she and I used to talk when we first met 9 years ago, full of laughter, chemistry, excitement. She even mentioned vacation plans. She wants to visit him this July. Told him she's giving him 2 years to move back to our country. It was all so casual, so natural between them. Meanwhile, I've been a ghost in my own marriage. I just finished listening to an hour-long recording of this garbage, and I'm still trying to process it. I'm going to meet with an attorney next week. I just wanted to say thank you. Truly, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't have thought to buy that voice recorder. And to think I actually felt guilty for planting it in the car. God. I'll post more updates soon. Right now I need to take a breath. I keep thinking about my kids and what she's done. They started this affair in September of last year. It took me 2 months to notice a shift in her behavior. Next week, I'll be out of town caring for my elderly father in another city. That means she won't be going into work. She'll be using my home office, which also means she'll most likely be talking to him from there. Would you put the recorder in the office for the week, or do I already have enough? So yes, It began in September last year, meaning I've been out of the picture for quite some time. Now she doesn't want to be around me at all. When we're in the apartment, she constantly has something else to do, visiting her parents, sister-in-law, friends, or just disappearing into the bedroom once the kids are asleep. Our boys are just 1 and 3. The recording confirmed everything. She told him she loves him, wants to visit him, and wants to sleep with him. They talked about his job, his problems, and even joked about his favorite sex positions. She told him she wants to go on vacation with him. She told him she will be his wife. She said she's going to leave me soon. There's no denying it now. They're having sex. They're in love. What she doesn't know is, I know everything. None of her friends or family have any idea. They think we're going through a temporary rough patch. She's one of 3 sisters, Catholic, in church every Sunday. We live in a small town, only about 20,000 people. The house we've been building isn't even finished yet, but I can feel it. She's going to file for divorce soon. She's clearly miserable around me. Her body language, the silence, the avoidance, it's all there. She wants me gone. She just needs some space and time to make it happen. And then, within 2 years, the affair partner will move back to our country and join her in our house. She even said in the recording that people will understand. She'll say she needed a father for her boys. No one will question it. The affair partner, he's her first boyfriend. They were together for 7 years before I came into the picture. We've been together for 9 years now. He lives abroad but visits frequently. I refuse to be played like this. I have an attorney now, and we'll be meeting again soon. I'm preparing everything. With what I've recorded, I could easily destroy her public image. Even just a few clips would be enough. Please, any advice is appreciated. What should I do when she serves me the divorce papers? My attorney says it will take about a month to prepare mine. I never thought I'd be dealing with someone like this. After meeting with my attorney, I realized something big. Going nuclear on her life might feel satisfying in the moment, but it wouldn't be smart. Not for me, and definitely not for the kids. The main reason? We have children, and I'll have to co-parent with her for the next 15 to 16 years. Another reason is that I genuinely respect her family. I don't want to drag them into a courtroom or force them to be witnesses during the divorce. And let's be honest, I wouldn't win full custody. The kids are still very young, and they need their mother. She lives in a small town about an hour away from where I work in the capital city. Realistically, I'd end up being a weekend dad. Also, I wouldn't have the legal right to sell the house. The kids must have a stable living situation, and right now they don't have another home. The apartment we're in belongs to her father, so as unpleasant as it all sounds, that's our current reality here in Poland. After discussing everything with my attorney, he sent her the paperwork. The documents were scheduled to be delivered right after Easter, which in Poland spans Sunday and Monday. I played it cool, sat at the table, pretended everything was normal. Alcohol helped numb the pain. Yesterday, Tuesday, I took the day off work to care for our 1-year-old son. She went off to her job in the capital, an hour away. While she was gone, my brother came over and helped me pack up all my things. We loaded them into his car. Then the postman arrived with the divorce documents. Technically an invitation to mediation so we could divide everything respectfully and settle the divorce amicably. The document clearly states that she is in a relationship with another man, and that's the reason the divorce is happening. The recordings I've collected will serve as leverage when it comes to child support and other legal matters. When she came home, I looked her in the eye and told her I knew everything. I said I had irrefutable proof. I told her how deeply hurt I was, and that she now needed to communicate only through my lawyer. Then I handed her the papers and walked out, to go visit her parents. Of course, she started asking what I knew and how I knew it. She denied everything. Her parents were stunned, but they believed me. I recorded the entire conversation, just as my lawyer advised. It started with me asking her parents whether they thought I was a good husband and father. They agreed I was. That alone ensures they can't be used against me in court. They listened. They understood the truth. They knew how horrible this situation was. They acknowledged that she had destroyed my life, their own family, and our children's home. I thanked them for their honesty and left for the capital city. While I was driving, I called a friend and asked him to inform her social circle. Within 2 hours, the news had spread. Then my brother-in-law called. He told me that she finally admitted to cheating with the affair partner, though she still denied having had sex with him. He told me everyone is on my side now, that she had destroyed everything. Her sister even visited her to tell her how cruel and selfish she was. But here's the kicker. He ended the call by saying that everything could still be salvaged. that he had once cheated on his wife too, and she forgave him. They're now happy. Next, her father called. He confirmed it was entirely her fault, said she didn't realize the damage she'd caused. He said her affair partner would never be welcome in his home, that he would cut off all financial support to her. He even tried to call the AP, but he didn't answer. He also told me he believes the marriage can be saved. Finally, her other sister sent me a text message. She said she fully supports me, but again, she believes this is fixable. That part, honestly, I hate, because I don't believe it's fixable, not even close. And I worry they'll all cling to the fact that I don't have a literal sex tape as proof, that somehow all the other evidence won't be enough. But I do have damning recordings. Her voice, her words, stuff like, "Make sure you last more than 3 seconds when I visit you in Holland. I wonder if your dad's D is the same as yours. You know what? I'll go to that woman and ask her how long your brother's is. And I'll tell her how long yours is. I love you. I'm going to leave my husband. Please record yourself and send me a video. Your favorite position is doggy style with a straight back. I'm showing you what your life with me will look like. I'm giving you 2 years to come back here." All of that, while showing zero emotion toward me for the past 7 months. Then, right after I confronted her, she said something that sealed it for me. I never stopped loving him. That's all the proof I need. And now, just like many of you warned, she's crawling back. Her family called her out. The truth came crashing down. Now she's texting me things like, "I didn't know what I was doing," or "I can't imagine," followed by nothing. A few minutes later, another one came through. "Without you, I'm so sorry for everything I've done. The kids and I are waiting for you to come back." She also claimed she didn't mean it when she told me she'd always loved him. Honestly, I don't know. Comments from her and her family are starting to make me feel like maybe I jumped the gun with the divorce, just because I don't have a literal video of them having sex. No one knows the full extent of the evidence I have. All they know is that I have some proof. Since she won't admit to physically sleeping with him, they think it's believable because he lives in Holland, but he could have easily visited her. Many of you warned me. Now that the papers have been served, she'll start crawling back, not out of love, but to save face in the community, win her family's favor again, and, let's be honest, because she needs help raising our 2 little boys. And it happened. She began sending me messages through Messenger. Not often, but always with the same theme. "I can't imagine life without you. I love you, and only you." She included photos of our kids and lines like, "We're waiting for you. We love you very, very much." And that's it. It's been 5 weeks. She hasn't called me. She hasn't come to visit me, not even once. And she's had plenty of chances. She's literally driven past my parents' house where I've been staying. Still, nothing but those occasional messenger texts. We've seen each other a few times when exchanging the kids. She didn't even try to say sorry. Just a quick hi and bye. Now, oddly enough, her family has started reaching out to me a lot more. Her father called me twice. Her mother sent over a dozen text messages with links to Christian websites, teaching about forgiveness and reconciliation. One of her sisters messaged me saying she's deeply sorry. She blamed everything on an evil spirit that had possessed my wife. The other sister was more blunt. She said my wife destroyed our family and doesn't expect me to ever return to her. Even my brother-in-law came by and took me out for a beer. He didn't try to pressure me, just talked. He said he'd love for me to come back, sure, but he wasn't pushy. All of these conversations had a similar tone. "We can't believe she did this. We would love for you to come back, but we understand if you don't." Eventually the day came when I made my final decision. I told my lawyer to inform hers. I'm not able to forgive her in this lifetime. I want the divorce. My lawyer sent over my terms. Now we're waiting for a response from her side. That's when things started shifting. Suddenly her sister turned on me. She flat out said I was the one destroying the marriage now. That yes, my wife had started this whole mess by being selfish, but now that she's sorry and crying and wants to turn back time, I'm the selfish one. She said I could just cancel the divorce and come back, not for my wife, but for my children. She accused me of being full of anger and warned that it would only grow over time. She told me I should suck it up and keep living with my wife. According to her, the divorce is just my way of getting revenge. And that revenge is hurting not just my wife, but our kids too. I can't wrap my head around it. You all told me this would happen, that the moment I stood firm, they'd flip the narrative and blame me. But it still hurts. For a few moments today, I genuinely felt guilty. Like maybe this really is my fault. Like maybe I'm the bad guy for not staying with someone who treated me like trash for 7 straight months. who emotionally and physically abandoned me, who planned to leave me. They're swaying me, and it's hard, really hard, but I won't back down. The divorce is happening, period. Now, they've started pushing this idea that I'm the one abandoning the kids. I'm considering flipping that argument by offering terms for getting back together, terms she'll never agree to. Not because I love her, I don't, but because I love my kids more than anything. Here's what I'd propose. No marriage, just co-parenting partnership, completely separate finances. She must leave her hometown and move to the capital city with the kids. GPS in her car until she's old enough to stop driving. Daily phone checks. Oh, and I get 7 full months to date whoever I want. Random women. No questions asked. I'd even cheat during the relationship and never tell her, because it wouldn't matter. There's no marriage anyway, and I wouldn't care. Would that shut them up? Because this guilt-tripping tactic isn't going to work on me. Not anymore. 2 months after I left her, that was just one example. I told her that to me, sex over video chat is still sex. And I know she did it with him. She couldn't even tell me how many times it happened with the AP. So I asked her, how do you imagine us getting back together when you start a conversation with me and lie within seconds? You know I'd be checking your phone every day. What do you think about that? She replied, that wouldn't be trust, that would be treating me like garbage. Then our son walked in, and the conversation started to fade. I closed it by saying, just remember, you didn't only cheat on me, you cheated on our 2 little beautiful boys too. That wrecked her. She started yelling that this would be the last time I ever said something like that in front of our kids. It's funny, really. Her sister told me how my wife is supposedly suffering, crying every day over what happened. But that's the two-faced reality I'm dealing with. She cries in front of her family and still lies straight to my face. She even had the nerve to tell me that if she really wanted to, she could be with the AP, and no one in her family could stop her. Like I should be grateful she chose not to. Like I should thank her for not continuing the affair. Honestly, I know I'm just venting now, but I want to keep you all in the loop. Thank you for the strength and support you've given me. I'll stay strong. I have to finish this. One day, maybe not soon, I'll be free of this. But I fear this won't end well for my boys. They're already affected. My older son has been acting nervous and on edge lately. I know he can feel the change, but no matter what, I will always be there for them. Our attorneys finally reached an agreement. The divorce will happen soon. She's taking the unfinished house. And the mortgage. It's all in her name now. The house will be for the kids. I didn't want anyone, especially in her small town, to say later that I forced the sale of the house out of revenge. I also don't want to live there anyway. I'd never move to her hometown, especially not now. I'm staying in the capital. However, I am taking back what I personally invested into the house, and the amount is nothing to scoff at. Child support terms are fair too. We agreed that she'll bring the kids to my place in the capital every other weekend. I'll just have to drive them back. Right now I get to see them nearly every weekend, but it's not enough. It tears me apart. Sometimes the pain is unbearable. I can't accept that my 1- and 3-year-old boys have to grow up without a full-time father just because their mother couldn't stay faithful. I wish I could have full custody, but that's not possible under Polish law. To stay sane, I'm thinking about driving down to see them midweek too. I'll do anything to stay present in their lives. As for her, she still sends me messages. She says she loves me, wishes she could turn back time, that she suffers every day for what she did. She's changed her tone completely. Now she even says I can check her phone anytime. She agreed to move to the capital if I take her back. She's offered to tell me every detail about the affair, if I want to know. She came to my parents' place and apologized in person. Something must have shifted. Someone must have said something to her, because she's suddenly willing to do anything. She even sent me this message. Thank you for not selling the house and ending things with me amicably. Agreeing to your terms also means agreeing to the divorce in court. But let me be clear, it's not what I want. I don't want this divorce. I love you so much. I know you don't believe it and I understand, but I hope one day I'll have the chance to prove my love to you. I love you, and I'm sorry. There are no words to express how deeply I regret all of this. Messages like that, they sway me. They make healing harder. I won't lie. Her words still hit me. The idea of my boys growing up here in the capital instead of that tiny town is incredibly tempting. And yes, I do believe it's hard for her. She's alone with 2 small children, and it's not easy, but she did what she did. She betrayed us. She destroyed what we had. I thought it would get easier with time, but this wound is healing far too slowly. Still, I'll stay the course. I'll finish this, And maybe one day, when I'm finally at peace, I'll come back and share an update. Not as a broken man, but as someone who found his happiness again. But if that day ever comes, it would only be under my terms. Relocating to the capital with our kids, and full transparency, meaning she gives me access to her phone, indefinitely. That's it. 2 conditions. And even though those are firm boundaries, I still have no real hope left. She didn't offer any of these things right away. It took 3 months after the divorce process began for her to even start showing remorse. And that remorse hasn't come with actions, just messenger texts, no phone calls, no visits, not even when she's had the chance. Her apologies feel rehearsed, distant. She never came to see me face to face to apologize. Instead, she waited until she had no leverage left, when the divorce was real, the house was divided, and I was gone, before finally offering the things she knew I needed from the beginning. And her family? They've flipped. Her mother now calls me a narcissist. Her sister accuses me of trying to profit from the divorce and leaving a helpless mother alone with 2 small boys. Just yesterday I visited my sons briefly, and my wife casually offered that I could stay the night. Of course I left. You asked what I think, whether I believe she's truly remorseful. Here's my answer. No, I don't believe it's genuine. I think she's remorseful for being caught, for the shame, for the fallout, for the loneliness, but not for what she did. Because if she truly felt deep remorse, it wouldn't have taken this long, and it wouldn't have come with conditions, or only when pressure mounted. D-Day was April 7th. Almost 6 months have passed since then. Here's where I stand now. Every single day I've had to ask myself the same questions. Do I still love her? Could I go back to her for the kids? Would I be willing to return to her small town and finish building that house? Would I feel at peace with myself 5 or 10 years from now, knowing everything she did? And every time, without hesitation, the answer is a clear and final no. Yes, I love my kids more than anything in this world. I wish I could see them every day. Yes, I'd love to have a whole, happy family again. Yes, I wish I could just forget, but I can't. I offered her a second chance, once already. All she had to do was move to the capital with the kids so we could build a new life together. She refused. She said she needed her family's help in the small town. She said she wouldn't sell the house because she wanted something for the kids' future. I told her, a family isn't a building. It's a mother, father, and children. She said nothing, just stared at me in silence. That was the moment I knew. There was no us anymore. There is no middle ground, no common future, and I made it clear. I would never continue my life in that small town. That's where her affair began. That's where he saw her on the street, called her, and everything spiraled. I told her I would never finish building a house that's just 1 mile away from her affair partner's family home. Even if he lives abroad, he visits Poland 2 to 3 times a year. I will never live a life wondering if she'll bump into him again. That conversation ended like so many before, without resolution. And now she's even complaining about the divorce agreement. We agreed that she'd keep the house, and I'd take my financial investment out of it. But one clause states she can't sell it until the kids are 18. If she does, she has to split the profit equally with me. She says that's unfair, that she plans to finish the house with her own money, and if she sells it later, I'd get half of a much more valuable property. When I asked her why she's even thinking of selling it, she said, I don't know what my life will look like in the future. Exactly. That's the problem. I don't trust her. And part of me now wants to pull the plug entirely and force a sale. But even that idea breaks me, because that house was supposed to be for my boys. Today she sent me another message. Here's what it said. I would like you to answer my question. I'm asking here because if we talked in person, we'd just end up shouting. You've said who I am and what I've done, and now you don't want to talk about it anymore. But having all that said, do you want to forgive me, leave the past behind, and rebuild the family from scratch? Or do you already know that you won't ever be able to forgive me, and that we'll never be together again? Please think about it, and let me know if you want our marriage back or not. What does it mean? To me, it feels like she's trying to force a binary answer, like she wants certainty so she can move on with her own plan, whatever that may be. It feels like a test. It feels like there might be someone else waiting in the background, and she wants clarity before she decides which path to follow. So I replied, I'm worth more than a messenger conversation. We'll talk soon. And we did talk. I gave her 2 conditions. Simple, final, non-negotiable. Move to the capital with our children. Allow full access to her phone at any time, without question, for as long as I feel necessary. That's it. She knows those are the only terms under which we could even begin to talk about anything further. But even then, I still don't believe there's a future, because trust, once destroyed like this, rarely returns. And I refuse to build my life again on a cracked foundation. The capital city, and cutting all ties with the AP and his family, were my only two conditions. The second part was easy for her to agree to, but the first, moving to Warsaw? That's an obstacle she claims she simply cannot overcome. She says she's sorry for what she did, but not sorry enough to change her life. She refuses to move because, in her words, we'd never be able to have a beautiful big house in Warsaw. Even a small apartment would be 4 to 5 times more expensive than what she's paying now. She lives in a flat owned by her father, so she only pays the bills. She also points out that the kids are comfortable in the small town. They have family nearby, a kindergarten owned by her sister, which we pay almost nothing for, and a support system she leans on heavily. And I get it. It makes sense. From her point of view, moving would only benefit me. She even said it would just feed my ego. It's a tough situation. She's right about some of it. The math, the logistics, it all adds up. But I've made my decision. I will not live in that small town. At the same time, I understand why she won't move, so we agreed. I'll just keep visiting, spending as much time as I can with the kids. I'll continue bringing them to Warsaw every other weekend. She promised she wouldn't see anyone else, that she'll stay single and wait for me, that I'll see for myself in the future. I don't buy it, and honestly, I don't care. Maybe it's even for the best. That way, my boys won't be around some stranger acting as a father figure. But during our recent conversation, she said some things that revealed how not remorseful she truly is. When I asked why she hadn't called me even once during our entire separation, only sent me texts, she said she didn't have time with 2 kids running around. When I asked her to tell me more about the affair, details she promised to share if I gave her a second chance, she flat out refused. She said she's done with that. She said I broke the deal when I told her family things she didn't want them to know. She even told me that the AP had been messaging her for years, that she always rejected him, until last year. And why did she give in? Because of my passive behavior. I told her that blaming me for her decision to cheat was absolutely disgusting. She rolled her eyes and said, "You only ever think about yourself. You're just the poor, victimized guy in all of this. I've learned to live on my own now, with limited time with my kids. And I've started dating again. Actually, I've been using dating apps for a while now. I get a decent amount of matches, and setting up dates isn't a problem. I've already had 2 or 3 short-term relationships. Unfortunately, they all ended the same way. Whenever those women wanted to meet up, I was busy with my kids. Every other weekend is completely off limits, and that became a deal breaker. To avoid this, I always lied, told them I had work or meetings. Naturally, they thought I wasn't really interested. So here's the problem. How do I navigate this? Right now, when I meet someone new, I don't tell them the truth, that I'm almost divorced and have 2 young kids. I've found that if I'm upfront, the second or third date never happens. But at the same time, I know I can't keep doing this forever. Eventually, I'd like to have a real relationship, something meaningful. I'm not looking for anything too serious right now, but one day, I will be. So my question is there any way to be honest from the beginning and still have a chance? Has anyone been through something similar? Is it even possible to be accepted for the full truth from day one, divorced, with kids, limited availability, and still build something real?